In this video, I'm going to show you the modifications that I made to that tile saw I mentioned in the last video. Stick around, you'll see some interesting changes to make it more suitable for glass fusing. If you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Jeff and I'm an Australian glass artist, and on this channel you'll find a lot of project tutorials on glass fusing and anything related to that. I use larger kilns. Well, when I say larger kilns, they're only 14 inches at the most, and in the future videos, microwave kilns, so you may find that interesting as well. Now, I've wanted a tile saw for quite some time now, something to cut the glass. I had in mind what I wanted. This is a little bit of a compromise, but I think it's still going to work out well. And the reason I wanted a larger tile saw is that the saws I've got didn't really do the job well enough, I suppose, and didn't have certain capabilities. I have a little desktop one, which has got, I think, a 6-inch blade in it, but the depth of cut isn't very much. I think it was something like about 25 mils, and that's all it could do. It had a fixed bed and a fixed blade, so you had to hand feed the glass into it, which introduced all sorts of issues as far as keeping everything nice and lined up, so you get nice even strips. I do have a ring saw, and that has other issues. Basically, it can only cut half of what the desktop one can cut. But I think it also strains that machine quite a lot to continue to cut slab or a slab into small strips. Not strips, slabs. Anyway, you get what I mean. So both of those have issues that weren't suitable when I make larger pot melts and pattern bars, that type of thing, because they can be quite thick. Now, especially if you want a more complex pattern in it, the thinner ones get, I mean, you can get complex, but not really as suitable as what I would like to do, or not suitable, I should say, for what I would like to do in future projects. So I needed something with a bigger blade in it that worked well. This one that I've got has a 8-inch blade. The depth of cut is about 40 mils thick, or 45 at a pinch, and the blade is movable. In other words, you feed the blade into the piece, so you don't have to hand feed the piece. The piece is up against a stop. You just set it to the depth you want, and you pull the blade into it to cut the slices. So much better arrangement. And I think it's going to be very good. I haven't really used it yet. I've done a short test, but that's all I've done with it so far. But in this video, I'm not using it for a project. I just want to show you what I had to modify to make this more suitable for glass fusing. So I've got a request. If you like the channel and you've liked the videos, please help me to build the channel more than what it is. And the way you can do that is to do a few different things, and you'll see a bar appear down here which has all the options on it. You'll find those icons somewhere on your mobile phone or your laptop. So what you can do is, I do have memberships. Think about becoming a member. It's only a couple of dollars, and there are benefits available to you depending upon which tier you're in. Consider subscribing, but if you do, make sure you turn on those notifications, set it to all so you get all of the notifications and you know exactly what's happening on the channel. And the other thing is, once you've subscribed, we do have a community. You can go in there and make posts, ask questions, do whatever you want, put photos up, any of that sort of thing. Now, if there's a video you particularly like, make sure you give it a thumbs up and share it with anybody that you think may enjoy it as well. And also on that video, ask any questions at all and I'll try and answer them for you. So I hope that inspires you to try and help here, either become a member or subscribe, and I will appreciate it, you can be sure of that. Anyway, let's continue. Now this saw I purchased second-hand, and it was a bit of a mess, but it only cost me $100. Now that's a bargain, because if I wanted to buy something like this here brand new, I'm looking at close to $1,000 and more, all depend upon features. And even this style of tile cutter, nearly $1,000, minimum of $800 and upwards. So $100 for this was an absolute bargain. Is it exactly what I was looking for? No. I really wanted one where the table slid into the saw, but in this one the saw is pulled into the glass on the table. So not exactly what I wanted, but it will do the job. Now, it was a bit of a mess when I got it, so I had to do, first of all, a cosmetic cleanup, because there was tile dust everywhere and in pretty much every nook and cranny you could think of. So it was a long cleanup of all of that. And then after that, I wanted to test it, make sure that everything works properly. And obviously that is to make sure that the main motor works and the saw runs, make sure it cuts to a degree. And this thing does have a laser on it, so I just want to make sure the laser worked, because I expected I would use it. Now it did come with a blade, so obviously I used that, got a bit of glass and just made sure that it would cut, and it did cut beautifully. The pump wasn't actually working at first. I had to play around with the pump a bit, and that's the pump over there. Obviously I had to fill it with water to get the pump to work, but once I did that, that was fine. The blade on it is meant for tiles, of course, it's not meant for glass, so it's quite thick and it chipped the glass like you wouldn't believe. But I knew that worked all well, and the only thing I would have to do was buy a new blade for it, one more suitable to the glass. The other thing, this has a laser on it, and it's on the front there. Actually, I'll turn it on so you can see it's working now. Whoops. You can see it down there in my hand. But when I got this, it wasn't working, and I thought it would work off of the mains power, but it didn't. It has a little battery in it, so you can actually take that out, believe it or not. It'll actually come off the saw. So it needed to work off a battery to do that. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and when I opened it up and had a look, the battery, of course, had been in there for years. It was rusted and corroded. For the first thing to do was clean all that up, put a battery in, and it worked fine, as you can see. Though I'm not too sure how useful it's going to be, mainly because of the reflection. It just reflects off the glass. I tried it on a bit of glass, but you really couldn't see it on the glass, so I thought, well, that's a bit useless. So even though it's working, I'll probably never use it. So another issue I had when I did the test cut was it just sprayed water everywhere. It all come out the sides, out the back, and just made an absolute mess. I tried putting that little bit of plastic there. That slowed it down a little bit, but it really didn't do much good. I'll show you what I did to actually resolve all of this. So the first thing was to stop it going out the left-hand side. Now, you can see that white sheet on the side. That's core flute. Wonderful thing, core flute. You can use it for heaps of things. So I cut a piece of core flute, and it just simply slots down the side down there. Doesn't get in the way of the saw, and that stopped pretty much everything going out that side of the saw. But I still had this side, the right hand side, and the back of the saw. So more core flute. So all of this was done out of one sheet of core flute. So what I've done is I've cut more core flute. That covers the back of the saw and covers the side of the saw, and it, excuse me, extends out far enough so that if I've got something wider, I can still cut it. It's all put together with just some brass or copper nuts and bolts, as you can see there. So basically I just cut it all out. This side I bent it up, bent the core flute around. Same on this end here, and it works perfectly. Water all runs off and down this channel. Hang on, get my finger in the right spot. All runs off of here, down the channel and into the water tray underneath, and it runs off of the back there, obviously down into the water tray at the back, and the same on this side, runs down there, back into the water tray. That has pretty much fixed all of that water spray everywhere. Obviously it still aerolyzes water into the air, so I'm still going to have to wear a mask when I'm doing this. Very good idea. You don't want to breathe in water vapor with glass in it. Not going to be terribly good for the lungs. So that solved all of that problem for me. Now, there was another problem. Believe it or not, there was no drain hole in this. I'll just take this off. There was no drain hole. So the first time I tried to empty this out was a bit of a joke, because the tray with the water in it is quite heavy. So if you can imagine trying to lift that tray out, by the way, this whole assembly just lifts out of the tray sits on the stand. So once I took the saw out and then I tried to lift the tray out to empty the water out of it, you would have had a laugh, because it flexes, of course, with all that water in it, and I ended up with water everywhere. So I had to fix that. So I went down the hardware, and after a little while I worked out how to put a drain in it. And you can see the drain here. So now all I do is, when I lift this saw off, I just upend the tray a bit on this end and let it drain out down into that bucket. So much easier, and a bit of a lifesaver, because I thought, nah, I've got to empty this out pretty much after every cutting session. Don't want to leave it sitting there. So that was going to be an absolute pain if I had to go through that process every time. And another problem I had was, I'll just move the saw out of the way. When I first cut a 6mm slice from a slab, and pull the saw back, the slice immediately fell through that wide channel through there, down into the tray underneath, and I thought, that's not going to be very good. So every time I cut a slice, it's going to fall through into the tray underneath. And to get it out, as you can see, it's a bit of a challenge to get it around that table and reach underneath. So I thought, that's not going to be any good. So I've got a little gadget here that I made. Hang on, just getting it for you. And it fits in here. I'll put it the right way around. It's not the right way around. There you go. So it fits in there. It's just a bit of aluminium angle that I got from the hardware. It fits nicely in there. So what I did is I put slots in it there and there, so it fits onto the onto those ribs underneath. Drilled a whole heap of holes for water and glass to go through. Works perfectly. My 6mm strips, if they don't go that way, are going to fall onto that, easily picked up, and it's just a great solution. And the channel was, I'm so lucky with that channel, because the height of the channel perfectly matched the height of the table and everything in here. I didn't have to do any modifications. So it was just basically cut a couple of those slots in so it sat there, and cut the holes in so the water and glass chips and all that went through. And another thing, if I wanted to cut glass at an angle, this little thing didn't have this piece of channel on it, and this is just for setting different angles. So I just used a different piece of channeling and I could screw it on, and that gave me a guide for cutting angles. Now another issue I had with this was basically these rulers that are in here weren't lined up. They weren't lined up that way, so I had to adjust them to line up that way, and they weren't at right angles to the cut of the blade, so I had to adjust those. Fortunately there's enough flexibility in these holes here to move these around to get it right. Now another issue I had with this was there was no stop. If you're cutting glass and you're trying to get it uniform thickness, you need something that the glass would go against, so that when you run the saw through you'll get that continuing uniform thickness all the way through. It didn't come with anything, so I needed something that was square, that went up against the ruler here, and of course obviously a square is perfect, and I had one of these sitting in there. It was an old one, so I just cleaned it up and I attached a little pointer on it so that I could set it to the right angle, or right setting on the ruler, and this is adjustable enough, so I got it perfect. That worked fine, but I had to hold it in place, so the solution to that was simply clamp it in place. All works perfectly, makes it really easy. I just set it to the right width, clamp it in place, and I'm set to go. Now one of the features of this saw is being able to cut at an angle, and the top is easily, you just release it with those side knobs there. It will slide over and you can cut glass at an angle. Honestly, I can't see myself ever really using that. Not quite sure why I would ever want to cut on an angle like that, but who knows, we'll see down the track whether that becomes useful or not. So there we have it, my first tile saw. Well, not my first, but my first big tile saw. And I'm really looking forward to making pot melts, mesh melts and so on, thicker than I was before, and being able to cut them into nice uniform slices. I think I've solved all the problems, but this is a work in progress, like most things, and I'm sure I'm going to come across little issues that I'll have to attend to later on. Now I'm really looking forward to using this in projects. Just being able to make larger pattern bars and pot melts and slab them up and incorporate that into pieces is going to be able to, or should say, it is going to allow me to expand on the types of projects that I'm doing. So if you get one of these, if you find yourself with a tile saw or something like this, I hope that this video has helped you work out what to do with it as far as modifying it to suit your needs. And keep in touch on these videos, because this is a work in progress, and I'm sure there are going to be other modifications that I'll have to make it work well. Now, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments section. Love to hear from you, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Please consider becoming a member, or at least subscribing. Make sure you turn on those notifications. Without them, subscribing has less value. Share it around, and hopefully it's all been of some assistance in some way or other, or at least interesting. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed that. Up here you'll find a button to do with membership and an example member-only video. Down here, the subscribe button. Don't forget the notifications, and there is a suggested video just for you. And until the next video, I'll say bye for now.